Does a sprinter's diet have to be extremely healthy? Best tips for overcoming injury. Should you curve your blocks for the 200 or 400 meters? How should you train in the weight room to become a top sprinter? What would be your #1 tip to become a better sprinter? What's good? Welcome back to another episode of Kingsley TV. My name is Kingsley Brown. I post videos about the track and field experience and my life as a professional sprinter. So if you vibe with that, consider hitting that subscribe button and join me on the wave to 25,000 subscribers. Speaking of subscribers, if you're a long-time subscriber, you know the original wave was to 10,000 subscribers. And like I said in part 2 of the Q&A, I hit that 10,000 subscriber marker. And to celebrate, I'm doing a 10K subscriber giveaway. So make sure you watch this video all the way through to get the details. But without any more waiting, let's get into the third and final part of this Q&A. Should you curve your blocks for the 200 or 400 meters? Yes. Well, let me take that back. Depends on what your coach teaches. My coaches have always taught me that I should bend my blocks so that it aims for the top of the turn, because the quickest way forward is to go straight. And so I'm trying to go as straight as possible for as long as possible at the beginning of the race. It's easier for me to drive out and run straight if I curve my blocks. So I definitely would recommend that. But like I said, talk to your coach first and make sure that they bless it. What would be your #1 tip to become a better sprinter? I've kind of touched on that already. Just having a strong mindset, having that resiliency to weather the storm with bad performances. Don't quit when the going gets tough. The tough have to get tougher. So if you can be strong up here, the body will follow. Just being able to get through bad races, get over injuries, all that stuff that makes other people quit. If you can stay strong and get back out there, reflect, race is the theme for this video. If you can implement that into your training, you'll be just fine and you'll get faster. Best tips for overcoming injury. I actually have a video about this. I'll link it right here. Go ahead and watch that one. It's full of recovery tips, and I actually need to make an updated version. So coming soon, I'm gonna have a new video about overcoming injuries, but for now, I'll just tell you to stay focused on your long-term goals, do what you have to do, put out a plan to recover and get back on the track and be healthy, and stay motivated, because once you lose motivation, you're not gonna do the little things that you need to do in order to recover. But stay focused on your goals, keep telling yourself what you're gonna do when you get back healthy, and once you get healthy, hit the ground running. How much do you train in 1 week? I train 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. I have Saturday and Sunday off, and when we're deep in the season and we're going heavy into training cycles, we might go 6 days a week and sometimes even 7 if we need to play catch up, but for the most part, 5 days a week. Is weight training or sprint training better for improving top speed? I don't know why you're choosing between the two. I think they go hand in hand, and you should do both and implement both in your training program to maximize yourself as an athlete. Do both. There's not one better than the other. They both play hand in hand and have their own purpose for building you as an athlete. It's something you should talk to your coach about, because they know, and if they're a good coach, they will put together a program to maximize both of those training exercises to get the most out of your running. Best supplements to take for sprinters. I don't really recommend supplements because, you know, that stuff can get dicey, but every sprinter is different, and there's no one formula that's good for everybody. You have your general things that you want to take, like your multivitamins and stuff like that, magnesium, stuff along those lines, your proteins, your whey proteins that you drink with your smoothies and whatnot. But I would recommend you go into a nutritionist who can build out a plan. That's exactly what I have. Get your blood drawn, see what you're deficient in and what you're lacking, and then build out your supplement plan from there. Do you have to be tall for track and field? I am only 5'7", others are 6'+". No, you don't. If you look in the 100-meter landscape, traditionally a short sprinter has been short. And so if you're short and stocky and got a lot of power and a lot of turnover, that's typically what the prototypical sprinter was for a short sprint. And if you look across the landscape, you know, a guy like Coleman or Trayvon or Bracey, those guys aren't 6'+", but you can see they run very, very fast times. All are running 9'7", 9'8". So you don't have to be tall. It does have its advantages and disadvantages. Depends on your makeup and how you run and your technique and all that. It does help if you're 6 foot and have that same turnover like a guy like Bolt. You definitely have an advantage, but at the same time, most taller sprinters sacrifice some turnover for stride length. But sprinters come in all shapes and sizes. I mean, look at Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price, one of the greatest 100-meter sprinters, guy or female, in history, and she is very short. She's the Parker Rocket. That's her nickname. So sprinters come in all shapes and sizes, and you can definitely still get the job done. How often can sprinters eat junk food, i.e. McDonald's, sweets, etc.? Love your channel, by the way. Appreciate you very much. How often? Honestly, depends on your body type and your metabolism. Some people can get away with it with young age. Well, they burn a lot of calories really fast and it doesn't affect them as much. But for athletes who want to maximize the most out of their career, you definitely want to limit that to at least like once a week. I think that's a good balance where you're still getting your cheat meals in every now and then. Just have one meal a week where you say, okay, I'm gonna have some bad food. Ideally, it would be after a race, because that's when your metabolism is really, really high and you've already successfully competed, so you don't really have to worry too much about priming yourself. But yeah, once a week, I think that's good. Don't get in the habit of having that all the time. You want to balance yourself out by having mostly good food throughout the week, and then one cheat meal a week won't hurt. Does a sprinter's diet have to be extremely healthy? Again, that goes on your goals and how elite you want to be in the sport. If you want to have a really strict diet, you gotta have method to your madness. So you should consult with a nutritionist who can build out a plan for you, make sure that you're hitting all the spots that you need to hit, and set out your goals that you want to achieve with your body type. Some people can get away with certain foods. Some people are more heavy set and don't have as fast of metabolism, so it's gonna weigh on you a little bit more, so you gotta be more strict and careful. But it really depends on you. How strict you want your diet to be depends on how great of an athlete you want to be. Obviously, the stricter the better. What's some of the worst and best things you can eat as a runner? Some of the worst things you can eat: very heavy foods, fast food of course, anything that's greasy and not nutritious at all. There's no value to it, it's just empty calories. It's gonna make you feel heavy and bloated. So anything like that is definitely not good and you should stay away from that. The best things you can eat: carbs before a hard workout where you know you're gonna spend a lot of calories and burn a lot of energy. Those are good to get you right. Fish, vegetables, chicken, those are the staples. Potatoes, sweet potatoes if you can, that's the best, or just regular potatoes. Quinoa, rice, grains like that, those are good carbs. You know, pastas are great. Things that are nutritious and will help fuel you, that's what you want. Treat your food like a fuel. Have a couple cheats every now and then so you can keep yourself honest and commit again and not have to just completely cut off cold turkey. But at the same time, for the most part, you want to eat things that are going to help your body feel good. Anti-inflammatories and antioxidants too, you know, your berries and stuff like that are also going to be very good for your body. Fruits, nuts, vegetables, all that good stuff to fuel the body and make you feel good day in and day out. What does your average weekly sprint schedule look like? Example: weights, track, recovery sessions. So like I said, I work out right now 5 times a week. Monday, Thursday is gonna be upper body days in the weight room. Tuesday, Friday is gonna be lower body. Mondays are usually our speed endurance days, so longer runs. Our block days and short speed is gonna be Tuesday and Thursday. Wednesday is usually either a recovery day or sled days or something along that line. And Friday is our pivotal day where, depending on what we did earlier in the week, he can either make up a workout where we were behind, or he can give us some recovery if we excelled throughout the week, or he could just throw something in just for the heck of it as a surprise workout. And it's really up to his discretion, but he has the flexibility. Like if there's a rain day or it's too cold out and we can't achieve what we need to achieve, he'll throw it on Friday. And then in terms of recovery sessions, I get 2 to 3 massages during the week, and I also see the chiropractor once a week to make sure that I'm really fine-tuning the body and getting good recovery in. What was the hardest adversity you faced as an athlete and how did you overcome it? I think one of the toughest times I was full of adversity was when I kept getting hurt and I couldn't stay healthy on the track, and I couldn't compete to the best of my ability because I wasn't healthy and I was just putting out poor performances. I wasn't reflecting what I could be as an athlete, and I felt like I was selling myself short, and a lot of people were doubting me and no longer believed in what I could do because I was just not performing. So I had to go back to the drawing board, really talk to my coach and get on the same page, figure out what I could do to stay healthy first and foremost, and then how can I excel. And since we did that and got on the same page and worked together and kind of built out a plan for me to stay healthy and work on my body and perform better on the track when it's game day, I've been one of the most consistent athletes out there and been able to excel year in and year out. So you can always weather the storm and turn things around no matter what type of adversity you're facing. So don't give up hope, keep the motivation, and keep improving. Is sprinting genetic? It's definitely genetic, I won't lie. Some people are blessed to have really, really good genes. So if you're not, you can still run fast and get faster. You might be limited and have a higher ceiling depending on your genetic makeup, but it is genetic, and the better genes you have, obviously the bigger your ceiling is, but you still have to work hard. So people with really good genetics that have a poor work ethic and don't execute can be beaten by those with less fortunate genetics but a better work ethic and are hungrier and compete better on game day. So don't lose hope if you don't have the best genetics in the world. How do you deal with nerves before a race? Well, I stay in the same routine because I find comfort in familiarity. And so if I'm doing the same things I do over and over and over, it feels like it's familiar. And no matter where I am, no matter what the competition is, that helps calm down my nerves because I know this is a recipe for success. And if I follow it, I should be able to replicate it and compete to a high degree of success. Just making sure you have your own routine that feels comfortable for you and you feel confident and you can repeat it. It's something that's easy to remember and easily repeatable. That'll definitely help you with your nerves when they come in. Also focusing on your breathing, making sure that you stay present. Bring in a nice big breath in, blow out, in and out, in and out. Calm your heart rate down, stay nice and relaxed, and then focus on what you have to do and go out and get the job done. Can you show us your weight room session? Is it true if you start track late, like in high school, you won't make it D1? No, it's not true. That's exactly when I started taking it seriously for myself. And if you're coming from another sport, you're gonna be an athlete that's already active and has the fundamentals to run fast. You just have to reteach yourself and learn how to translate that speed from another sport into track and field. And that's if you're a sprinter. If you're in another event, that's obviously gonna be some different techniques that you're gonna have to learn. But the point is, it's not too late. High school is usually when athletes start to take it seriously and start to look at D1 colleges as an avenue for them to run fast or to get a scholarship. But I would just say the course, hook up with Streamline athletes and see your opportunities that are ahead of you. Maybe if you're starting at your senior season, it might be a little too late for you and you put down some marks, but you would be a lot better if you had more time. So you might need to go the JUCO route or a smaller D1 school or D2 and then transfer into a bigger D1 school later. Or if you're young and you're just starting high school, definitely start running, setting your sights on bigger things like going D1 and look at what performance standards you need to get there and just start competing, man. Just get better year by year and you never know where you'll end up. But it's not too late is the point. Can I get an undergraduate fully funded scholarship in Canada? I don't believe so. Last I checked, you can only get academic scholarships full ride in Canada, which is why a lot of athletes who have the talent go down to the States. One of many reasons the infrastructure is better at the NCAA, but I digress. But as far as I know, you can run at the CIS or U Sport as they changed the name, and you can have academic scholarships, and I think they could give you partial scholarships and help out in some way and subsidize some of your costs, which is a lot lower than a college school in America, I will say that. But as far as I know, you can't get a full athletic ride. You have to kind of combine with academic and some athletic scholarship. How does an overseas athlete go about competing for a college in America? Well, you have to get on their radar. I suggest that by running fast or throwing far or jumping far. Whatever your event is, get scouted, get on the radar by putting your times out there, reaching out to schools in America. You can head over to Streamline Athletes and they can hook you up with different colleges across the nation. It's a very good website to check out for young athletes who are looking to go to college and compete at the next level, whether it's in Canada or America. But the best way to do that is to run really outstanding times or throw or jump and compete to an elite level, so much so that they want to bring you over versus the athletes that they have at their disposal already over here in this country. How much time and how much struggle do you have done to run 100 meters in 10 seconds? I think I understand what you're saying there. I've gone through a lot, okay? Running 10 seconds, running under 10 seconds especially, very, very hard. It doesn't happen overnight and you kind of have to methodically get better over time and just keep improving, keep honing on your craft, improve your technique, do the little things, listen to your coach, do the workouts, work hard, get the most out of each session, eat the right food, sleep right, all that good stuff. You can do all that and still might not even run 10 seconds, but you do have to have some talent. You do have to have the genetics and the work ethic and the right mindset, but it is possible. Of course, it is possible. You can run 10 seconds in the 100 meters, but you have to be very dedicated, continue to work on your craft, continue to get faster. How do you mentally prepare for a championship or important race? Like I said earlier, I try to stay the same and go through the same routine and same motions through every meet. So that way I'm not putting more emphasis on one meet versus the other, because that's when you start to put more pressure on yourself and try to be something you're not and recreate it. So I just go through the same routine, and I know I got to step my execution up a little bit when it's a bigger meet. But other than that, around the track, I'm doing the same things. I'm going through my same routines, and I'm trying to really throughout the year work on my routine so that by the time I get to that big meet, it's perfected. I feel very comfortable and confident in the way I'm performing, and I just go out there and execute. That's all there is to it. You really just want to tell yourself this is what you've been training for. Now is your moment, and go make it yours. What's good? What's good? I hope you guys are enjoying this Q&A so far. As promised, here are the details for your chance to win the 10K subscriber giveaway. The first thing that you need to do is subscribe to the channel and join me on the way to 25,000 subscribers. The second thing you need to do is smash that like button and watch this video all the way through to the end to get the third and final thing you need to do for your chance to win in the giveaway. Now let's get back to the Q&A. Best advice to young sprinter between 13 and 18 years old. My best advice is to hook up with a club coach, just like I've said in this video right here, where I give the best tips for young runners who are just starting out. Basically, hook up with a club coach, be surrounded by other athletes who are on the same page as you and who want to get better and faster. You definitely want to be surrounded with those type of athletes who have that type of mindset. They're going to make the best choices, and you kind of feed off each other and create an environment where people are getting better. And don't put too much pressure on yourself at that age. Still have fun. Don't try to be a pro. Don't try to do the things that the pros are doing, because you're not at that level yet. You have to build up the foundation, have fun, compete, compete to the best of your ability, but at the same time, don't put too much pressure to be the best all right now, because you're young and you're still growing and still figuring stuff out. When did you understand that athletics would be your job? Honestly, I took it year by year, and I'd never planned when I was younger to be a professional athlete in track and field, but kind of just took the next step in each phase of my career. Went from high school to college, and then when I was in college and I had a successful senior year, I knew that I was gonna go pro. I saw my peers around me going pro, and right around my junior season, I knew I had the potential to go pro because I was running fast times. I went through the Olympics already. I went to the World Championships already. So I was competing against seniors that are already on the pro level, and I feel like that was my destiny and where I should end up. And sure enough, that's exactly what I did. So I just kept staying steady, getting better year by year and improving. And eventually I signed with an agent and went pro, got a Nike contract, and the rest is history. How to prevent peaking too early. You got to pick your spots. You don't want to race all over the place and get overzealous and burn yourself out. So you got to make sure that you're recovering, taking time to rest the body. Don't just race and run yourself into the ground. Your coach should know this. Build out a schedule and follow that. Make sure that you are not just racing too much and you're taking care of yourself, and then you won't peak too early. Have a plan and follow it. The purpose of off-season training. The purpose is to make sure that you don't get completely out of shape and your body, you're still working on the joints and the muscles that need work, fine-tuning stuff that you don't really have time to do during the season because you're working on the bigger muscle groups. Work on the little muscle groups in the off-season. Make sure that you're still getting rest, but at the same time working on small things so that you come into the season feeling good and strong. How could track and field increase popularity? There's a whole gang of things we could do in track and field to increase popularity. One big one is to increase more visibility on personalities and emphasize that, and emphasize wins versus records and times. When people get time crazy, if they don't get a fast time, they think it's not a good meet, but a good competition is good head-to-head battles where you have suspense and you don't know who's gonna win, and at the end of the day, you have a great race between competitive athletes. That's what's gonna take the sport to the next level. If you highlight that and highlight the personalities of the athletes, that's one of many things that you can do to increase popularity. Best way to make friends and connections in the space of track and field. Connect, talk to people, be social, just go do it. It's not a novel thing. People have always found a way to connect and make friends. It should be very easy, especially with social media, where you can see other people who are in track and field. They're on the same wave as you. If they like the same stuff as you on social media, then make a connection. Reach out, say, hey, you know, I see that you're into track and field. I am too. What are your goals for the season? Where do you train? Where are you trying to go? How fast are you? When did you start running? It's an easy icebreaker. Just take it and run with it. No respondes. I'm responding right now. So there you go. There's your response. How did you manage competing and studying? I'm 16 and I compete in the 100 and 200 meters. You really just have to balance. I have a video right here that you can check out about how to balance student athlete life, which basically goes over how to be a student athlete at the collegiate level, balancing out your academics and your athletics, which is very tough. But once you have your system, you find a good balance between the two. You definitely can pull it off. And at 16, I know that can be tough because you're a young adolescent and you want to have a social life and stuff, but you got to cut back in some areas and make time for certain things. So it's really about time management. That's one of the keys. You can check out the rest of the keys in that video right here, where I go over how to balance student athlete life. Check that one out. It'll give you all the tips you need. It's a very good video and very informative for a young athlete like you. How should you train in the weight room to become a top sprinter? Like I said, I'm not a coach, so I don't put together sprint programs or training programs in the weight room. You're gonna have to find a professional who's better suited for that and has the knowledge. But my short answer is you find a good weight training program and follow it to the T. How can I stay focused mentally, physically, and motivated while injured? Well, you gotta focus on your goals, man. This too shall pass is a saying that I like to say and live by, and that's because ups and downs in your sport are guaranteed, and peaks and valleys will come. You have to just ride it out, man. Ride the train, ride the wave, and just know that your goals are not going anywhere. So by the time that you get back and healthy, and you will get healthy if you stay on a good recovery program, stay on track, listen to professionals who can guide you and get you back into shape, get you back healthy, get you back out there competing. And once you do, just focus on those goals, man. Just tell yourself mentally, I'm gonna be back, and when I do, I'm gonna come back with a vengeance. How to migrate from India to Canada for athletic practice under your coach? Well, I'm not an immigration lawyer, so I would definitely advise you to find one in India who can help you do that. That is way beyond the scope of what I do on this channel. So find someone that can help you get to Canada. If you want to train with me, I train in the States, and you will need to be a Nike sponsored athlete. You'll have to have an agent who can negotiate on your behalf, talk talk to my coach, talk to Nike, and arrange all that stuff. Again, that's not what I do. I'm an athlete, I run. Next question. What was going on in your mind after the block slip? I answered that question already in part 1, so if you haven't seen that, go ahead and check that one out, and we'll keep it moving. I'm 16. Is it too late to start track and field? 16 is definitely not too late. It's actually a very great time to start. I didn't start taking it seriously until I was 17, so you're right on track as long as you play catch up with the other athletes who have been running for a long time in your age group. But your body's still developing. You still have an opportunity to get faster, so stick with it. It's a perfect time to start. Find a club coach. Check out my most popular video on my channel, which is tips for young runners, and you'll be just fine. But 16 is definitely not too late. Do you look out for your weight in competitions? No, I don't, because typically for me on competition day, I just want to focus on what I have to do on the track, and I don't need any more extra distractions like worrying about my weight and all that stuff. Typically I'll worry about that in base season when I'm loading up and getting strong and building my strength levels, making sure that my weight isn't fluctuating too much and that I'm not getting too heavy. But as long as I feel good and I can perform well and I'm confident in what I can do, I don't really worry too much on game day about my weight, because that's just a distraction. I know some people fluctuate a lot and they have to worry about their weight because they might be too big or too light, but for me that's not something I ever had to really worry about, because I've been fortunate enough to have a body type that has a fast metabolism and I've been in pretty good shape, so I don't really distract myself with that. How do you overcome a phase where you work hard and the result is still bad? You just gotta stay the course, man. It's just like being injured. Whether you have an injury or you just have a streak of bad performances or you're going through a tough injury, it's the same thing. You have to stay focused on your long-term goals and make sure you see the bigger picture. And even when it's tough, you gotta ride it out, man. The career is full of ups and downs. That's the only thing that's guaranteed, is that you will have ups and downs. There'll be highs and lows, and you have to be able to weather the storm, ride out the wave, and don't lose hope, man. Keep the motivation, don't lose focus. Keep telling yourself what you're about to do when you come back and you get healthy. Keep visualizing, keep doing what you gotta do to recover and get back on the track every day when you're injured. And when you're just having bad performances, keep trying, keep going out there, reflect, compete, reflect, compete, reflect, compete, reflect. And once you do that, work on your flaws every time you go back after you reflect, and you work on your flaws every time you go back out and compete a little bit more, see what you did wrong. Eventually, it will all manifest into one beautiful moment and you will break through. Just keep trusting, trust the process. What song or songs are still on your pre-race playlist that you added at USC? That's a good question. I'd have to look back and see what songs are still on my playlist, but off the top of my head, I know I have Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata. That's a good one that gets me in the zone and helps me to focus and relax me. The Zone by Drake and The Weeknd is another classic that always gets me in the zone, keeps me focused and honest. And then the Earth Song by Michael Jackson. That's another good one. That goes back to my high school days when I first learned about the song and Michael Jackson. And at first it started as a joke because I saw it on one of those singing competition shows like American Idol, where a guy tried to sing it and he was terrible, he butchered it. Did you ever stop to notice was crying at this weeping shore? Then I heard the real version and I actually liked it, and so that's in my playlist because it reminds me of back in the day when times were simpler, kind of calms me. I really know myself and I know who I am and who I was when I was growing up, and I could just focus on being young and just having fun and living life. So if things get too complicated and stressed out, I just simplify things by going with nostalgia and listening to those old songs that are still in my playlist. What piece of media that left a strong impact on you? I'm not exactly sure what you mean by that. Maybe an article or something written about me. If that's the case, I would definitely say something that left a strong imprint on me was articles from back in the day when they used to always compare me and Andre and have me in his shadow and have me like the second banana in the story. That really motivated me because I felt like I had so much more of a platform and so much more of my story that I wanted to share with the world that wasn't being told. It was just, here's Andre and here's the next guy that's also a sprinter in Canada and his name's Aaron Brown. And that's why I started Kingsley TV, because I wanted to share my life and my experiences as an athlete and distance myself from him and stand on my own 2 feet, because I have my own unique story that I feel like a lot of people can get benefit from. So if that's what you meant by the question, I don't know, but either way, that's my answer. How do you train your upper body any lift? That's again a question for a coach. In my program in particular, we do a lot of upper body. Like I said, Monday and Thursdays upper body days. Got your bench presses and a whole bunch of other exercises that are hard to explain. So have your coach build out your own plan. Don't just blindly follow someone else's, because there has to be a method to your madness. You have to supplement your weight training with your on the track training to make sure that they coincide and you're cohesively working on your body so that you're not doing things that are going to hinder you. You want to help yourself, and that means you have to have a tailored program for what you're doing and have a method to it. I'm not sure what that means in the translation. I'll have to look at it later, but I do see that there's some hearts, so I give you a heart right back. Not exactly sure what this says, so I'm gonna translate it later on, but for now, I'm just gonna keep moving on to the next question and say thank you for subscribing if you have and supporting the channel, but I don't know what you said. Again, not sure what you mean by this, but I appreciate that, and another heart, so giving you a heart right back. I'll translate it later, so I'll know exactly what you meant later. But for now, I'm off the top, and reading your question, I have no idea what that means. I want you to come to Japan again for a run. I'd love to come back to Japan. Japan's one of the most beautiful places I've ever been to. I love the culture. I love how respectful and clean it is. I could definitely see myself living there if I wasn't allowed to live in North America. I would definitely choose a country like Japan. That's definitely high on my list. Love it there. Konnichiwa, all that good stuff. I wish Tokyo we were allowed to travel and we didn't have COVID, because I think that would have been the potential for one of my favorite games. But I would love to come back, and when we have Worlds there in 2025, I'm excited for that because the track was really fast and I love the people and I want to explore more. So I will be back. Did you get bullied in high school? If so, how did you handle hate and recover? I didn't really get bullied other than some lighthearted teasing amongst my teammates, because I was an athlete in high school, and so I was always amongst my teammates who would razz on each other, but in good spirit. I'll definitely recommend taking care of your mental health if you're getting bullied. Talk to somebody about it, especially in high school, that everyone in that age is kind of figuring themselves out, and sometimes they express that by bullying other people. They're trying to let what's inward and affecting them and project that on other people. That's just what comes with high school sometimes. You're not alone. Look at the resources that they have. Unfortunately, sometimes it's a part of life, and you're just gonna have to learn to stand up for yourself and overcome it. Hang in there. You got this. Send them to me. I'll get them the back off. I love you. I love you too. Thanks for supporting the channel. What part of Canada do you think is the most beautiful? That's a great question. There's a lot of great, beautiful places in Canada. I'm gonna definitely go with Toronto. I love the skyline. And if you like this concrete jungle, you know, that city vibe, Toronto's a beautiful, beautiful city. It's a lot like New York, but a lot cleaner. So if you like that vibe and that's your whole thing, then definitely go with Toronto. But other than that, I would go with BC. It's hard to beat beautiful British Columbia. That's literally on their license plates. It's arrogant, but it's true. They have great views, mountains, if you like hiking and all that stuff. The scenery and the nature there, it's beautiful. There's a lot of great views to be seen. Animals are out, nature, all that good stuff. And it's expensive for a reason. Plus my wife and my family live out there, so I got to see British Columbia in all of its glory. I got to tour the city, see Vancouver, see Nanaimo, see Victoria, all those beautiful spots. So I've seen really, really good views and I have good memories. What do you see yourself doing after track and field? Man, that's a great way to close it out for the last question. I see myself doing a lot of things after track and field, and I'm starting a lot of stuff now so that by the time I'm done, whenever that is, blossomed into something bigger. And so I'm gonna delve into that later in the future and really get into the business side of what I do on a day-to-day basis on and off the track, because I do a lot that you guys don't know about behind the scenes, and I'm really working hard to establish myself with several businesses that I got going on. But one big one is what I'm doing right now with YouTube, my influencing on social media. That's definitely gonna be a part of what I do after track and field. And plan A is not to have a traditional job. I'm just trying to start different businesses and have different income streams coming in so that I can support myself and follow my passions and do what I love to do, which is things like making videos for you guys and growing my audience and growing Kingsley TV. So if you want to support that, go ahead and smash that like button and subscribe, and tune into the future when I drop some more stuff. All right, we've made it this far in the video, and the third and final thing you need to do to enter the giveaway is to go to my Instagram at KingsleySC and hit that email button and send me an email with two things. The first thing is to make a prediction of the times that I'll run in the 100 and 200 meters for the 2023 track and field season. And the second thing is to send me an email about what you'd like to know more about with pro track and field. That could be things like contracts, how to get an agent, how you choose your meets, how you get a sponsor. I want to fill the gap and spread the knowledge. So send me those questions and you will be entered into a giveaway, and I'll announce the winner in a future video. All right, send me those emails. Okay, man, that's the last of it. I hope you guys enjoyed this Q&A video. I'll do some more in the future if you guys like this type of content. If I didn't get to any of your questions that you have and you're really burning to ask, go ahead and drop it down in the comments below and I'll get to it there. And stay tuned for the future. When I do future Q&As, I'll leave question boxes for you to drop your questions and I'll make a future video for it. But for now, I'm signing off. Don't forget to smash that like button if you like this video. Subscribe to the channel to join me on the way to 10,000 subscribers. And if you want to see more of my content, check out this video here that YouTube recommends, or watch part 1 of the Q&A if you haven't tuned in and missed that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.